There's more to imagine when you listen. So let your imagination soar with Audible. Audible has audio titles from every genre that will inspire you to imagine new worlds, possibilities, and ways of thinking. As an Audible member, you get to choose one title a month to keep from their entire catalog. Enjoy an exciting reawakening of a beloved classic with the Audible original David Copperfield by Charles Dickens, produced by Academy Award-winning director Sam Mendes, starring Ncuti Gatwa, Helena Bonham Carter, and Theo James. This adaptation breathes new life into a familiar tale. New members can try Audible free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/imagine or text IMAGINE to 500-500. That's audible.com/imagine or text IMAGINE to 500-500.
Are you struggling to close deals? Cold outreach is wasting the time of both the buyer and seller at every stage, especially when sellers are using shallow and outdated data. Your organization can overcome these challenges with technology that translates comprehensive, high-quality buyer data into real-time insights. These deeper insights empower sales reps and teams to adopt the habits of top performers, which leads to better outcomes, like more pipeline, higher win rates, and larger deals. We call this deep sales. And we've built the first deep sales platform with the next generation of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/trial. That's linkedin.com/trial for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/trial and get started.
Welcome to How to Survive, the show that teaches you how to survive the things that can kill you.
Oh, that's mine. Like torpedoes or a pack of panthers. How about the Ebola virus?
Yes. And the things that just make you wish you were dead.
Like being too loud when someone's trying to tape a podcast. Random pubes on the toilet.
Ugh.
How about herpes, Danielle?
No, thank you. Pass.
Hard pass.
Hard pass.
You know what?
What?
Cures herpes?
The theme song?
Yep.
Ground is shaking under our feet, mountains on fire, flooding in the street. Can't breathe the air, can't fight the feeling. Gobbling down Xanax ain't the way to be dealing. Gotta do better than just getting high. We gotta stick together if we're gonna survive. How to survive. How to survive.
Welcome to How to Survive with Danielle and Christine. I'm Danielle.
I'm Christine.
Christine, how are you today?
Well, I got to tell you something, Danielle.
Yeah?
I'm good,
Yes?
but I had to just check and make sure my phone was off. Would you like to know why?
Yes?
Well, I started getting a lot of phone calls from all different numbers.
Uh-huh.
And I finally answered one,
Okay.
and they said, "Hey, is Benjamin there?" And I said, "Who is this?" And he said, "This is Brent from Channel 7 Construction." I just made that up. There
Right.
would not be a Channel 7 Construction.
No, it's very specific. They only do construction for local news stations.
sources.
Yeah.
Look, I haven't had enough coffee for my improv skills to kick in. I said, "I'm his mom. What's up?" And he said, "Oh, well, I got your number off Angie's list about a room addition to your home." So apparently, my son's been building a fort on our
Wait
property.
a second. Okay.
Yeah.
I assume this was some sort of scam.
No.
Now I have to reevaluate this whole thing. Okay.
So my husband and Benjamin have this, well, it's really Benjamin who's just been pressuring Sven. I want this fort.
Okay.
And he, it keeps raining. So
Okay.
the rain gets in his plans and life gets in the way. So apparently he took it upon himself to contact Angie's list.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
And put my email, my phone number into Angie's list to reach out to contractors about a room addition to our home.
No.
And so...
Wait, are you kidding? Your life is a sitcom.
No, I'm not.
This is hysterical.
So since this happened, on Sunday, I started receiving calls. I've had about 83 phone calls.
Oh, no.
And I think, I've had the same number for 20 years. I might have to change my number.
Can't you just delete the posting?
No, we have to go in. Well, we haven't had a chance because Benjamin has had multiple soccer games, but I think we have to go in and like use his thumbprint or something.
How did he even know to do that?
The commercials for Angie's List are on Hulu.
Okay, have you read, more importantly, do you have it with you, the actual listing?
I haven't seen it. No, I can't access it. It's on his iPad. So we have to go into his iPad, figure it out.
But so when you're talking to this first guy,
Yeah.
and you explain he's 10,
Yeah, I said, yeah, this is my son. And he's like, oh, okay, no problem. So since then, I've just been ignoring the calls. I'm not answering every call
Right,
and explaining.
right.
And then I've gotten, 15 texts, multiple voicemails, just the missed calls. I mean, that's,
so
the phone just rings continuously.
okay. So what did he say when you approached him about this?
So I said, Benjamin, did you put my number into Angie's List? I don't think so. I go, I think you did. For a room addition to our home? No, I didn't do that. I said maybe something to do with your fort. Oh, I just wanted to ask a question. I said, no, you gave them my number. And now look at my phone. Look how many missed calls. Mom, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I wonder what in his head he thought was going to happen. I mean, he gave them your number, so obviously he knew you would find out.
Well, I think it was that, whenever you join, like whenever you fill out something online, they ask you for information to open the account, like to join Angie's List.
Right.
So I think it was like, oh, well, this is just a format. Like,
Okay.
He's a kid. I don't think he thinks now she's
Right.
going to get 800 phone calls. I think he just thought, well, this is the next step to get into Angie's List. And then I can...
Do what?
I don't know.
Ask a question?
Yeah, ask a question of like, what kind of wood do I need for my fort? I don't even know. I don't understand the thought process.
This is an amazing way to guilt trip your father. Like,
Yeah,
you
if you don't-
didn't help me, I'm looking for
Yeah.
professional help.
Hey, Dad, I know you're an architect and you work for Frank Gehry, but if you're not going to build my fort, I'll hire a licensed contractor.
That's fucking amazing.
off of Angie's List.
That was like, I think I've said this before, but I went to preschool with the Zappa children.
Yeah.
And my mom claims, and I'm sure it's true, that the mother of the Zappa kids said to my mom, Dweezil wants to learn guitar. Do you know of any good guitar teachers? And my mom was like, you're married to Frank Zappa.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like,
That's hilarious.
yeah.
But I could see that.
Yeah,
too.
like he just didn't have time for the
He
kids
was like,
or something. Yeah.
I'm Frank Zappa.
Yeah.
I'm not going to just give guitar lessons
Right.
to a child.
Right.
That's really
I
funny. Oh, P.S. Do you know what he was doing on Sunday when I was getting all these calls?
Doing the fort? No, what?
Making fettuccine from scratch.
Jesus Christ.
And the Alfredo sauce from scratch.
Wait, making the pasta from scratch?
Yeah.
Do you have a pasta machine?
No, he hand cut each strand.
Do you have
With a knife.
roller thing?
Well, that's why he's cutting contractors. He doesn't have time.
I know.
Chef.
Christ.
He just felt like it.
He's like the most industrious child I've ever met.
And I was like, he had
He
to go
just
to
felt like it?
Yeah, he had to go to a soccer game. So I said, well, because he was like, I'm not going to get this done in time. And I'm like, just let it. I go, because I looked up the recipe because he was also doing it from memory. Like he'd seen a recipe online the day before. And so I was like, you got to follow a recipe. He goes, I remember. I know what I'm doing. And I said, all right, well, I just looked it up. You've got to let the dough sit for 30 minutes. And he goes, this isn't going to work out. I got to go to soccer. I go, it's okay if it sits longer. Like he was so stressed.
Yeah,
I go, I'll just put it in this plastic wrap. It's going to sit. And then when you get back, you can cut it and, roll it out with the rolling pin and cut it. It's going to be fine. It was fine. We all ate it. It was delicious.
Was it good?
Yes.
You need to get him one of those roller things that can like just cut dough. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like it
Yes.
has a wheel on it.
Yeah.
Like that's probably like $3 or something.
Oh, no, a pizza cutter. We have one of those.
Yeah, but
There's one that
that's little.
yeah, and I think it might come in different
Shapes,
and
probably.
like gnocchi or whatever, and you can or gnocchi.
Gnocchi. Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, pizza cutter would work too.
I think he probably used the pizza cutter, but I'm going to wait and see if he actually does it again before I invest in any kind of.
You got to sign him up for cooking school or something. Although I guess you don't need it now.
He's just doing
YouTube.
it. Yeah.
He's going to be on MasterChef Junior pretty
I
soon.
know.
He would love that.
And he's going to insist on staying in his own fort that he built in the back of the parking lot. That's fucking hilarious.
Hear me out.
Yeah.
Kid contractor.
Kid-
HGTV.
Yes.
Oh,
Kid contractor.
that'd be a great show.
That would be. I mean, they had that show where the kids just live by themselves on an island. I mean, they canceled it after like one episode.
Yeah, they were like, maybe not.
Yeah, but if they could do
Because it's turned into Lord of the Rings. Or Lord of the
Lord of the Flies.
Well, maybe they walked somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe they
Lord of the
lived
Rings.
at a shire. Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah,
You can't
so-
even be mad. It's so cute.
Yeah. I mean, he also was very apologetic. Like he immediately, I was like, so I don't have to reprimand you or give you a consequence, right? Because you're never going to do this again. He was like, Mom, I'll never do it again. Like he felt really bad. So,
It's so funny though.
I mean, what are you going to do?
God.
How are your cats?
Well, I got some kind of weird news.
Oh.
Benjamin the cat seems to have disappeared.
huh? Oh, he went off to give birth.
She went off to give birth.
And yeah, she.
I know.
But guess what?
what?
She's going to come back with those kittens.
I guess it just seems like I just thought it would be somewhere we could see. Like maybe the fucking bed I gave her.
Maybe away from those other cats, though,
Yeah.
to protect the
Yeah.
kittens.
Yeah. I keep looking around. I haven't found her yet. In
That
fact,
means you don't have to worry about.
I know. That's what I thought about him.
Maybe
to
at a neighbor,
sterilize
maybe
his-
at a neighbor's house.
Yeah.
The other neighbor that has some scissors.
Yeah.
Sterilized.
She went out of the country for a couple of weeks.
Oh, well, maybe
That
that's
neighbor.
even a better place because then there's.
Yeah, that's true. But at one point, I saw her go up on the trellis, which is like really high.
The neighbor or the cat?
Sorry,
I'm just picturing your neighbor.
the cat, and like there's a flat. I don't know what it's called, but the flat part of the trellis where it's like a roof with like lots of ivy on top.
Yes.
And she went up there, and I was like, "Should I give birth up there? Is she? Because it seems kind of precarious."
Yeah.
So she could be up there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't see or hear from her.
You'd hear her.
That's what I
You'd
thought.
probably hear the kittens like going.
That's what I figured. Jimmy says she should not have been climbing in her condition.
She got her doctor's permission first.
No, also no caffeine and
Yes.
no raw fish.
No soft cheeses.
No soft cheeses. I'm still watching Yellow Jackets. I don't know.
Okay.
You don't need to. It's not like amazing. It's fine, but you don't need to watch it. I just sometimes I watch TV by myself, and that's the show I watch. And as I was saying earlier, I ran out of amazing interiors. So, which, by the way, coinciding with the news with Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas's friend, who was it's a big story. His friend is a political donor, and he's been giving all this money and to Clarence Thomas,
Yes.
and been like funding his vacations
Oh, right,
and all
right,
this
right,
stuff.
yes.
Well, that guy collects Nazi memorabilia, apparently.
Oh, amazing interiors.
Yeah. Well, so on Amazing Interiors, so one of the episodes was, I think it was Roland Emmerich's house, the director.
Okay.
It's all dictator themed.
What?
Yes. So he's got like Stalin, and he's got I think he's got Lenin, and he's got Saddam Hussein stuff. It's like all decorated. Yeah.
No.
Is he got like
It's supposed to be ironic.
paintings of them on the wall or
Yes.
something?
Have you seen it? Yes.
I saw that somewhere.
Well,
I
I
don't know where
tweeted
I saw
it, but
oh,
no
maybe that's where I
one
saw that.
What
responded.
does
But yeah.
he direct? What has he directed?
Roland Emmerich, is he science fiction?
Yeah, he did Independence Day and Day After Tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
Those things.
His
Yeah.
I mean, he's not American, is he? That's not an
No.
American name.
He's not American. And this is in Sweden or England. I can't remember. Anyway, check it out. It's crazy.
Does it seem creepy? That sounds creepy when you're saying
Yeah,
it.
I mean, it's like done in like a stylish way. But yes, it's creepy. The whole thing is creepy.
you can put lipstick on a pig,
Yeah.
but it's still a pig, guys.
It's supposed to be like it's supposed to be like a statement or some bullshit.
No,
I don't know. And then they didn't interview him, but they interviewed the decorator, and he kept saying how that's just his sense of humor, and it was just so it's just so whimsical. Or he didn't use whimsical, but
It's edgy. You know,
Yeah.
that just makes Michael Imperioli look that more adorable.
yes. Oh my God, get those two together. All right, are we ready to discuss today's topic.
Put on those glasses, Danielle.
Okay. We're going to be discussing how to survive Ebola.
Wait.
Okay.
Is it coming back?
It has come back since the first big one.
Okay.
I don't know if it's coming back again, but it has come back within the last few years.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Do you guys think that we're going to have more pandemics in our lifetime that are big ones? Or do you think the COVID was the big one for our lifetime?
I have no sense of what... I have no sense of like that sort of question. I don't know. But my guess would be, why wouldn't we have another big one? I don't know.
I think the behavior of humanity during COVID would almost guarantee there'll be another one, because not humanity as a whole, but certain pockets of it who ignored the entire situation.
Right.
I think that will happen again, and it's probably going to be this fungal whatever that's
The Last of Us?
Last of Us.
The Last of Us thing.
The remaining few.
Yes.
2 more left.
Hopefully not. but-
Standing room only.
Big guy, little girl.
I read that Dave Holmes article, by the way. It was really good.
Oh, I need to read it.
He interviewed Pedro Pascal.
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to
I don't
stop your
Girl,
good
it's
beginnings.
all good.
All right.
The Ebola virus causes an acute, serious illness, which is often fatal if untreated. EVD first appeared in 1976 in 2 simultaneous outbreaks, one in what is now Nzara, South Sudan, and the other in Yambuku, Democratic Republic of Congo. The latter occurred in a village near the Ebola River.
Oh, I didn't know it was named.
Coincidence. No. From which the from which the disease takes its name.
I would never have known that was named after a river.
No, I wouldn't have
Guys.
either.
That's crazy. Okay.
The 2014 to 2016 outbreak in West Africa was the largest Ebola outbreak since the virus was first discovered in 1976. So the 2014 to 2016 is the one you probably have heard
Yes.
of. That's when it made all that news. The outbreak started in Guinea and then moved across land borders to Sierra Leone and Liberia. On March 23, 2014, the World Health Organization reported cases of Ebola, which is EVD, Ebola virus disease, in the forested rural region of southeastern Guinea. The identification of these early cases marked the beginning of the West Africa Ebola epidemic, the largest in history.
Ooh.
The initial case, or index patient, was reported in December 2013. An 18-month-old boy from a small village in Guinea is believed to have been infected by bats.
Oh, poor baby.
Poor baby. After 5 additional cases of fatal diarrhea, you remember fatal diarrhea?
Oh, one of my favorite bands.
Didn't they open for your husband's band?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
He hooked up with the drummer.
Oh, how did that end?
Fatally. Wait, did the bat bite the baby? Is that what they're thinking?
It doesn't say. I'm assuming. I don't know. Did the baby accidentally eat bat? Did the baby?
Well, maybe
I
it
don't
was
know.
just like a chew toy. Like the baby
Yeah.
was like, "Nyah, nyah, nyah, nyah."
Yeah.
The babies will put anything in their mouth.
They really will. After 5 additional cases of fatal diarrhea occurred in that area, an official medical alert was issued on January 24th, 2014 to the district health officials. The Ebola virus soon spread to Guinea's capital city of Conakry. On March 23rd, 2014, with 49 confirmed cases and 29 deaths, the WHO, World Health Organization, officially declared an outbreak of EVD. Weak surveillance systems and poor public health infrastructure contributed to the difficulty surrounding the containment of this outbreak, and it quickly spread to Guinea's bordering countries, Liberia and Sierra Leone. This was the first time EVD extended out from more isolated rural areas and into densely populated urban centers, providing an unprecedented opportunity for transmission.
That's a terrible way to go.
Yes. Dehydration, diarrhea.
Diarrhea
yeah.
to death. I mean,
Right.
just like having diarrhea is already awful, and then
Yeah.
you die, like you're dying from it.
It's just so embarrassing.
It's so awful. And then it's also just it's hard to keep it contained in an area where there's not, I mean, it's hard to keep it contained, but I'm thinking about in communities where there aren't maybe good sanitary systems.
Yes. Well, yes.
Okay, sorry. I'm just thinking about where they
because
are.
it's very rural, and then it ends up in these urban areas.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Over the duration of the epidemic, EVD spread to 7 more countries Italy, Mali, Nigeria, Senegal, Spain, the United Kingdom, and the United States. Later, secondary infection, mainly in a healthcare setting, occurred in Italy, Mali, Nigeria, and the U.S. The scope of this outbreak, both in terms of cases and geography, can be attributed to the unprecedented circulation of EVD into crowded urban areas, increased mobilization across borders, and conflicts between key infection control practices and prevailing cultural and traditional practices in West Africa. Engaging local leaders, so it's universal. Some people don't want to change their ways. Engaging local leaders in prevention programs and messaging, along with careful policy implementation at the national and global level, helped to eventually contain the spread of the virus and put an end to this outbreak. A total of 28,616 cases of EVD and 11,310 deaths were reported in Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. There were an additional 36 cases and 15 deaths that occurred when the outbreak spread outside of these three countries. Okay. Transmission. It is thought that fruit bats of the, I'm not going to pronounce it, family, are natural Ebola virus hosts. Ebola is introduced into the human population through close contact with the blood, secretions, organs, or other bodily fluids of infected animals, such as fruit bats, chimpanzees, gorillas, monkeys, forest antelope, or porcupines found ill or dead in the rainforest. So maybe the baby came upon a dead bat. I'm not sure.
And is that similar to, I don't even know when I asked this, but like, isn't that one of the theories around COVID as well, that it was an animal transmission from a bird or a bat?
That's the original.
From a wet market.
Right, which is where
they ate bats or something.
Yeah, but now they think it was leaked from the lab.
I mean,
which maybe was leaked from the lab and got into the bat, and then
it could be both.
So
yeah, okay. Guys, we got to get our shit together.
I didn't know what a wet market was before.
I don't mean our
this.
I don't mean our podcast. I mean, guys,
shit?
the world.
Oh,
we got to get our shit together.
Well, it's hard when it's diarrhea. Because as you said, it's hard to keep it contained. I know that's not what you meant.
You know what? That should be the catchphrase of diarrhea. Diarrhea. It's hard to keep it contained.
Imodium AD contains it.
There you go. Ebola then spreads through human-to-human transmission via direct contact through broken skin or mucous membranes with blood or body fluids of a person who is sick with or has died from Ebola, objects that have been contained with bodily fluids like blood, feces, vomit, from a person sick with Ebola, or the body of a person who died from Ebola. God, so even when they're dead,
you can
they're
still get it.
Yes.
So you just even if you're like a medical professional handling an already dead person.
Yes.
So contagious then, basically.
In fact, healthcare workers have frequently been infected while treating patients with suspected or confirmed EVD. This occurs through close contact with patients when infection control precautions are not strictly practiced. Burial ceremonies that involve direct contact with the body of the deceased can also contribute to the transmission of Ebola. Ooh. You're just trying to mourn your loved one, and then they leave you with one more gift.
Yep.
People, are you going to say something, Garen?
No.
Oh.
You got a funny one-liner about that, Garen?
No, I thought he was going to say something about the. I was going to say R19, COVID-19 infections.
Okay, no, I haven't.
The president of the network is calling. They would like you to stop linking our network with one of the biggest pandemics of all time.
And if you could contain the diarrhea talk, that would be lovely too.
It can't be contained.
People remain infectious as long as their blood contains the virus.
Which it always does, it sounds like.
Pregnant women who get acute Ebola and recover from the disease may still carry the virus in breast milk or in pregnancy-related fluids and tissues. This poses a risk of transmission to the baby they carry and to others. Women who become pregnant after surviving Ebola disease are not at risk by carrying... Women who become pregnant after surviving Ebola disease are not at risk for carrying the virus. So once you've recovered from it and then you get pregnant, it's okay.
Okay.
If a breastfeeding woman who is recovering from Ebola wishes to continue breastfeeding, she should be supported to do so. Her breast milk needs to be tested for Ebola before she can start. Terrifying.
Yes.
Right? Because I don't know. I would just be like, I'll just do formula.
Let's take the formula.
I mean, they're trying to push formula in Africa anyway. They try to get them. Anyway, it's horrible. Anyway, not that formula is bad if that's what you have to do, but it's not necessary in all cases. Symptoms. The incubation period, that is, the time interval from infection with the virus to onset of symptoms, is from 2 to 21 days. A person infected with Ebola cannot spread the disease until they develop symptoms.
Okay.
So that's kind of good. That's other than COVID.
Then you'll know it.
Right. Symptoms of EVD can be sudden and include fever, fatigue, muscle pain, headache, sore throat. This is followed by vomiting, diarrhea, rash, symptoms of impaired kidney and liver function. In some cases, both internal and external bleeding.
What? External bleeding? From where?
Well, I'm about to tell you, but I'm waiting for Garen
to faint.
To faint. For example, oozing from the gums or blood in the stool.
Oh, no.
Laboratory findings include low white blood cell and platelet counts and elevated liver enzymes. Diagnosis. It can be difficult to clinically distinguish EVD from other infectious diseases such as malaria, typhoid fever, and meningitis.
Yeah, it could be one of these other horrifying things.
Right.
Take your pick.
Many symptoms of pregnancy and Ebola disease are quite... I thought I read that wrong, but it's true. Hold on one second. Many symptoms of pregnancy and Ebola disease are quite similar.
They are?
Yeah, they both make you want to kill your husband.
They both make you shoot diarrhea out of your butt. Wait, I don't remember that when I was pregnant.
They both make you question everything you've done in your life up until this point. They both make you stop taking your very needed antidepressants.
They both make you never get hired in TV again.
They both make you never be considered a sexual person for the rest of your life. And they both make you have to buy a whole new wardrobe.
Yep.
Okay, many symptoms of pregnancy and Ebola disease are quite similar. Because of risks to the pregnancy, pregnant women should ideally be tested rapidly if Ebola is suspected. Treatment. Supportive care. Is that one of the, I hear your phone ringing. Is that a contractor?
Yep, it is.
Oh my God, you should take it. Take it on the air. Tell them.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. My name is Bob Davis. We're contractors. Are you guys still in need of getting an estimate on a building addition?
You know what? Thank you so much for calling. I have to tell you, that was my 10-year-old son who signed up for Angie's List for his fort. And I've been getting calls.
He's on a podcast.
You're actually on my podcast right now because I'm taping live. We've gotten about 87 calls so far. So
You're lucky with only 87.
Yeah. So
Getting started.
I wish we could hire you, and I will think of you for when we do need a contractor.
Thanks a lot, man. Good luck.
Thank you. Bye.
Awesome.
Nice guy.
Yeah.
He was nice.
Rehydration with oral or intravenous fluids and treatment of specific symptoms improve survival. A range of potential treatments, including blood products, immune therapies, and drug therapies, are currently being evaluated. In the 2018 to 2020 Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, the first ever multi-drug randomized control trial was conducted to evaluate the effectiveness and safety of drugs used in the treatment of Ebola patients under an ethical framework developed in consultation with experts in the field and the DRC.
Oh, this is interesting because they didn't have any
in 2016
because there was only that first one in like the 70s, right?
Well, the first major outbreak was 2014.
But I'm saying it hadn't happened before,
Right.
except in the 70s, and it
yeah.
wasn't a big outbreak, so they didn't really have like
Right.
It wasn't like polio where they had
Been working on it for
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So in 2018 they had this randomized drug control.
Great.
2 monoclonal antibodies were approved for the treatment of Zaire Ebola virus. So there are different Ebola viruses named for the countries that they are from. Infection in adults and children by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration in late 2020. Vaccines. The Ervebo vaccine has been shown to be effective in protecting people from the species.
What was that?
Okay, so you may or may not know that there's recently been complaint about noise coming from our studio into the office next door, which are 2 screenwriters. And we've been trying to keep it down. And we even Never Not Funny put up these sound buffers on the wall.
Yeah.
We just heard a very crazy noise coming from that side. So
yeah, maybe we can ask them to put sound buffers up on their side.
Yeah. So that was us 2,500 violations, them 1. They're really going at it.
Yeah, they're really.
Well, maybe they broke the scene. Yeah. Oh, you should yell at them. Narration is a sucker's tool. Okay. Okay. The Ervebo vaccine has been shown to be effective in protecting people from the species Zaire Ebola virus. In December 2020, the vaccine was approved by the FDA and pre-qualified by WHO for use in individuals 18 years of age and older, except for breastfeeding and pregnant women, for protection against Ebola virus disease caused by Zaire Ebola virus. The vaccine has been administered to more than 350,000 people in Guinea, and in the 2018 to 20 Ebola virus disease outbreaks in the DRC under compassionate use protocol. Prevention and control. Good outbreak control relies on applying a package of interventions, including case management, surveillance, and contact tracing, a good laboratory service, safe burials, and social mobilization. Risk reduction messaging should focus on several factors. Reducing the risk of wildlife to human transmission from contact.
Let's do that first.
Right. With infected fruit bats, monkeys, apes, forest antelope, and porcupines, and the consumption of their raw meat. Animals should be handled with gloves and other appropriate protective clothing. Animal products, blood, and meat should be thoroughly cooked before consumption. Reducing the risk of human-to-human transmission from direct or close contact with people from Ebola symptoms, particularly with their body fluids. Wear gloves, wash hands. Outbreak containment measures, including safe and dignified burial of the dead, identifying people who have been in contact with someone infected with Ebola and monitoring their health for 21 days, and the importance of separating the healthy from the sick to prevent further spread. Reducing the risk of possible sexual transmission.
I was just going to ask that.
WHO recommends that male survivors of EVD practice safer sex and hygiene for 12 months from onset of symptoms or until their semen tests negative twice for Ebola virus.
Now, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Maybe you came across, and I don't know if you know this or not. Now, I know there used to be, and I don't want to be one of those like idiot white people about Africa. And again, not all Africans are. Anyway, okay. There used to be all of this superstition about using condoms.
Oh.
Remember around the AIDS crisis where they didn't want to, they were like, there's AIDS, there's actually HIV in the condoms and they wouldn't use them. Do you guys know this?
I do not know this.
Do you remember this?
But it sounds very familiar.
And they would try to do all this education around condoms. Yeah. And I'm wondering if there's still any kind of sort of, and I'm not talking about in the major cities of,
right,
I'm talking more the rural areas.
Well, that's very interesting.
If that's still an issue of like superstitions in the sort of rural areas around usage of condoms and sort of sexual education to make sure that it's not spread through.
Yeah.
I just don't want to, I don't want to be a dumb sort of American.
No, I didn't even know that was a thing, honestly.
Because I'm not as up to date on that stuff. I'm just curious if that's an issue that they face with the more rural populations on getting things like diseases like this from spreading.
They alluded to, rituals and things that were enabling the spread of it,
like cultural rituals around burying and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I don't know. I didn't read anything about that, so I don't know. I don't want to say
because if your cultural rituals around in a burial, let's say, and I don't know what theirs are in Sierra Leone or places. If it's like something to do with like covering the body with cloth and touching it, and if they're saying, "Hey, guess what? We have to burn all the bodies."
Yeah.
People might be like, "We can't because then our
I think you can do all that. You just have to be protected. You have to be in like
a whole
mask
outfit,
and gloves and stuff like that. I'm assuming. A number of medical complications have been reported in people who recovered from Ebola, including mental health issues. Ebola virus may persist in some fluids, including semen, pregnancy-related fluids, and breast milk. So you need to get all that tested. Are you ready for a story?
Yes,
Are
please.
we? Am I?
Why? Oh, no. I think it'd be okay. Butembo, Democratic Republic of the Congo.
Yes.
Doctors didn't think Nelly would make it when he was first admitted to the Ebola treatment center in Butembo in the Democratic Republic of the Congo back in September. Sorry, this is from 2020, so the latest outbreak, the end of the latest outbreak. 6-year-old Nelly, well, I'm sorry, the article is from January 2020, so September would have been 2019. 6-year-old Nelly was displaying advanced symptoms of Ebola after contracting the disease along with 2 of his brothers in August. Less than a month later, his life was hanging by a thread. When doctors first started his treatment, Nelly was flickering in and out of consciousness. His breathing labored, his eyes ringed with dark circles. He was comforted and cared for at the center by Jermaine Mbusa, who would sit with Nelly inside a transparent protective plastic bubble. Aww. Jermaine knows what it's like to beat Ebola. Having survived the disease, Jermaine is now immune and works at the center as a lullaby, so called because of their soothing presence. Then this is just a little quick note I wanted to look up just to make sure. Those who do recover develop antibodies that can last 10 years, possibly longer.
That's amazing.
Survivors are thought to have some protective immunity to the type of Ebola that sickened them. It is not known if people who recover are immune for life or if they can later become infected with a different species of Ebola virus.
Man, that's good that it's 10 years because Ebola sounds so awful.
Yes.
I wish COVID was 10 years.
I know.
But I mean, look, Ebola sounds worse.
He was able to safely stay at Nelly's side, talking with him and holding his hand, supported by a team of doctors and nutritionists providing life-saving medical care. I wanted to see him recover as soon as possible, Jermaine says. When Nelly arrived, there was no hope, says Dr. Sergei Mumbere Kavalami, a medical director at the hospital. But then something unexpected happened. Nelly started to get better. With all the help from the staff, he somehow made it. Nelly's survival is a miracle, Dr. Kavalami says. UNICEF has deployed clinical nutritionists, pediatricians, and psychologists to work in Ebola treatment centers to meet the specific needs of people infected with Ebola, particularly children, pregnant women, and lactating mothers, many of whom are already malnourished. After 35 days in intensive care, Nelly left the treatment center with his family as an Ebola survivor. I'm happy that I'm healed, and I'd like to go to school, Nelly says, smiling as he shyly clasps his hands together outside the hospital gates. After weeks of worry, the mood is light and celebratory. The family and medical staff are dancing, laughing, and playing drums. Nelly is breathless with excitement as his family kiss and embrace him. I used to get worried when I visited. I cried every day. I'm so grateful he's better, Nelly's mother says as she swings her son onto her back. Jermaine says he never gave up on Nelly. I was so happy when Nelly survived, he says. I was scared when he refused to eat. I would look at him and I was terrified that he would die, but he made it.
Aww.
So yeah, there's if you are looking for a cause to give to, UNICEF employs these people who basically take care of the sick.
Yeah.
And in these situations, there was a picture of a woman on one side and who had Ebola, who was in a plastic room. And on the other side was one of these lullaby people holding her baby so that the baby could look, at her mom through the plastic. And the baby was so happy. And the baby was fine. It was the mom who was infected. But
so she couldn't hold the baby.
Yeah, they had to keep them separated until she's better.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's heavy stuff. But, I mean, you got to adapt to the situation.
Yes. So give to UNICEF and
wear your masks.
Wear your masks when needed.
Yeah.
That was a great story. I learned a lot.
We're going to take a break, but maybe during the break you can take some bids. And see, maybe it's going to all work out.
I might end up hiring a contractor for this fort.
Yeah.
Or maybe we'll just put a room on the house.
Just a whole other room.
Yeah.
But it looks like a fort.
Yeah, it's a fort room.
It's a fort room, yeah. All right, we'll be right back after this.
Fall is here, and if you want to sleep in the coziest bed imaginable, you have to start with Boll & Branch's best-selling 100% organic cotton sheets. You'll spend every night wrapped in buttery, breathable softness and feel your sheets get even softer with every wash. Discover the difference with Boll & Branch's 30-night guarantee. Plus, get 15% off and free shipping on your first set of sheets. Visit bollandbranch.com and use code WONDERY15. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
Canva presents a work love story like no other. Meet Productivity. She's all business.
The Canva doc is done.
Creativity is more of a free thinker.
Whiteboard brainstorm.
They're worlds apart, but sometimes opposites attract. Thanks to Canva.
The data is in the deck.
And now it's an animated graph.
Canva, where productivity meets creativity. Now showing on computer screens everywhere. Love your work at canva.com.
Welcome back to How to Survive with Danielle and Christine. Danielle,
Christine.
how many sums have you done on your break?
Well, I've been told by Garen that he can't do an ounce of math, which I think is the American standard. Okay, so before the break, we talked about how to survive the Ebola virus, and now we're going to talk about how to survive the herpes virus with our very special guest, John Ross Bowie.
Hello.
You may know John from, a little show called The Big Bang Theory.
Heard of it.
Or a little show called Speechless, which, as you know, John, was huge in our house.
No, you were very kind about that show.
You were great. And he's the author of a new book called No Job for a Man, which I'm assuming is about acting.
It is.
Yes.
It is a phrase that my father used to use about the profession. Not everyone's dad's an actor, you see.
Yes, I understand.
And some of them are a little less celebratory when you pursue that field. It's not. It's about all the jobs I've had.
Okay.
Actually,
none of which have been for a man.
Well, no, I think some of them were, but I wasn't good at those.
Oh, okay.
I was good at the job that isn't for a man.
Right.
Whole thing.
Got it.
Really, yeah. But
And what did your dad do for a living?
My dad was in the paper industry.
Like in a mill?
No, in an office like Dunder Mifflin.
Oh, wow.
But in Midtown Manhattan, he was. I mean, this is in the book, but there's moments where he was kind of like Michael Scott. He was like the funniest guy in his office. Whether that was the case or not, but like he was always cracking jokes, and he was, and that was his good days. And on his bad days, he was more like David Brent, where like there was like a desperate neediness in him, and he got fired after 12 episodes. Did
he watch The Office?
He did.
What did he think about it?
It was interesting. He enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And he was I had gone out. God, I went out for The Office constantly.
Yeah, it seems like a show you would have been on, honestly.
Constantly went out for The Office. Oh my God, for a bunch of the main roles and guest spots, and I just could never. They loved to waste my time and drag me up to Van Nuys and go, "Hey, that was great work, John," and not give me a job.
See, this is the weird thing about show business. Mm-hmm. Because they wouldn't have brought you back if they didn't like you.
No, I believe that. It's the
same casting director.
It was the whole time.
So
who likes me and has given me other work, but this, for whatever reason, I was not. So I went out. The first one made sense because I went out for. I went in with Dwight's sides.
Oh.
And I did my Dwight, and they were like, okay. Take the gym sides, go out in the hallway,
I see you as a gym.
and
sure.
come back and let us know if we can figure something. And we won't. Obviously, you're just getting these sides. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Went in there. I was happy with my work there. It was a little more of a grounded performance.
Yeah.
And then when I saw how they cast it, I was like, yeah, that's the problem. There's always going to be someone a little weirder than me, and there's always going to be someone a little more wholesome Middle America.
Okay,
than me.
got it.
And I got caught in this weird little like not Scranton pit, But it was a great show, and it was really well done. And my dad, oddly enough, really enjoyed it. He enjoyed that, and he enjoyed 30 Rock because he had been an NBC page for a while.
Oh, really?
For Jack Parr.
Oh my God!
He was an NBC page for the Tonight Show in the early '60s. Yeah, after the Army.
Was he there when he walked off? Wasn't it Jack Parr who walked off?
He was not there for the nervous breakdown. No. He was that.
That would have been awesome.
He hated that he wasn't there for that.
Of course.
Because people ask that question all the time. Because Jack Parr famously flipped out on the air and
live television.
On live TV. My father was not still an NBC page there. He had moved over to the 64 World's Fair, which is where he met my mom.
Oh my God.
Wow.
It would have been pretty cool if you had gotten on The Office, though.
It would have been
really cool.
It would have been a really interesting kind of full circle moment.
It's like my dad, played a Russian on TV. And my grandfather had already died. my grandfather wasn't Russian. He was Lithuanian, but Russian in spirit, and it would have been a whole other level to their relationship. I think if he had seen that.
He didn't live to see Chekhov.
No, way died way before that. So, but anyway, I want to know about your story.
Okay, so when I was 20, it was the summer between my junior and senior year of college.
Okay.
And
did you skip a grade or something?
No.
It seems early. No? Okay.
No,
I don't know why I get caught up on these age things. Don't worry about it.
No, I was born in 71. This is 19. No, you're absolutely right. I would have been 21. It was 1992. Thank you. 1992.
Okay.
Right. Good
Fact checker
catch.
Danielle.
Yeah, well done.
I did an ounce of math.
I did. You really did just now. Yeah, your sums are really good.
Nice.
Sums, by the way.
Sums, I know. Maths.
1800 school mark.
I think I used sums as well.
No, you're the one who used it. That's what
You
I'm
did,
saying.
yeah.
Okay.
You're the one who
did
you
it.
are the one who said that because
Thank you.
you were you were Laura Ingalls' teacher. She broke out the horn book. So I'm working in an office and I'm not good at it, and I'm in a relationship and I'm not particularly good at that either. And it's just not. I'm heading into my senior year. This is the year that I'm going to. I was an English major, studying to be a teacher.
Okay.
And this was the year I was going to do my student teaching. Really nervous about that.
Okay.
Really nervous about just the act itself, and then its symbolism of this is adulthood.
Oh, yes, of
And
course.
why were you pursuing teaching? You hadn't realized yet you wanted to pursue anything in show business?
Because it seemed like. Because I'd started as an English major because I wasn't sure what I wanted to study, and then I realized that it's just very, very, it's a humanities, and humanities degrees are barely worth the paper they're printed on. So I should learn a skill.
Got it.
And they had a decent teacher training program at Ithaca College, go Bombers, and so I was like, okay, I'll study to be a teacher, and we'll see how this goes. So I've got all this adulthood looming at me right now, and I'm in this job where I'm really just answering calls, but then I'm not enough of a self-starter to go around hey, the phones are quiet. Can I do anything else? I don't quite have so I'm doing the crossword, and the boss is like, you can't do the crossword at the front. I'm like, that's fair. So I'm just not good at it. And one morning I'm going to work, and it's the end of the summer, and I'm gearing up to go back to Ithaca. And I take a shower, and I notice something extremely unusual on the shaft of my penis.
Uh-oh.
And I'm sort of hunched over, in the weird. And I'm living at home, obviously.
Okay,
and
right.
so I'm in my childhood bathroom checking this thing out, and what am I going to do? Talk to my mom about this? So I'm like, this is horrible. Okay, is that what I think it is? Because it looks like a cold sore by any definition. That's what a cold sore looks like.
Okay.
Remember, 1992, there was no Googling this.
Right.
But if I had Googled it, it probably would have been it's a cold sore.
Yeah.
So I lose my shit, and I go to work, and I'm having a massive fucking panic attack. So much, it's so visibly bad that listen, even when you're feeling well, John, you're not much use around here. Why don't you take off?
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, that's fair, and I leave there for the last day, as it turns out, and I call my childhood, my family doctor, who was right down the street.
Your pediatrician?
Well, he was the family doctor.
Okay.
He was a GP.
Who's Laura Ingalls now?
I know,
Family
right?
doctor.
The blocks in New York City are small towns.
Okay.
And he was literally down the street, across and down the street. And Dr. B, I won't give his full name, I go in there, and yes, it is weird. He did see me when I was, he'd been seeing me since I was 12, I think. And he, a big kind of fat guy who talked like this, and very New York, and kind of waddled around all the place, and so I call and I get an appointment that day. I'm like, this is an emergency. This is a super duper emergency, and I go in. And I wait for a really long time because there's always a massive wait at Dr. B's office. And I go in and I'm like, hi, you knew me when I was tiny and now I think I have herpes. And by the way, if I have herpes, I have gotten it from a toilet seat. Seriously. Like the odds of me with this particular decidedly asexual relationship that I'm in.
Oh, wait, you haven't had sex with this person?
I have, but not enough that like... I really don't think I caught it from her. I really think this is a toilet
Does
seat
it take
case.
more than one time to get herpes?
It doesn't, no.
Okay.
And it's possible I got it, but it's just I'm immediately like not in a place where I'm blaming her.
Okay, so did you call her and tell her though?
I did.
Okay.
And she flipped the fuck out.
Of course.
And we had a fight because I was like, listen, I'm dealing with this. I'm trying to deal with this. And a whole messy thing. I go in. And go, well, let's see it, says Dr. B. So I pull it out, and he's like, that's herpes. Oh. And I'm like, oh, my God, this is miserable. I've gotten herpes like the least possibly fun way you can get herpes. I've gotten herpes from a New York City toilet seat, I guess. This is nightmarish. Ugh. He's like, well, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to write you a prescription for Zavarax. You can get it filled over here on 42nd, and I'm going to recommend you see a dermatologist.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, great. Whatever you need to do, that's fantastic. Thank you. Or I go home and I call my girlfriend, and she's crying, and I'm crying. Oh. And I go to the drugstore, and I hand in the prescription, and they go, yeah, that'll be $125.
Oh.
And I wasn't making enough money at the time that I could covertly do this, so I got to tell my mom.
Oh, no.
So I tell my mom, I'm like, hi, I need $125.
Hi, I have herpes.
This is the worst thing.
Oh.
And she's like, how did this happen? I'm like, I don't know, I got it from her. I got it. It's a mess. It's so bad. And I have, that night, I just remember just this, like, and by the way, people live with herpes.
Right.
People live with herpes all the time. I have tons of friends. Everyone at this table has tons of friends. Maybe people at this table, you don't have to tell me, but maybe you've got it yourselves.
It's a very common STD.
Super
common
STD.
But you can't get rid of it, right?
But you have it forever. The way, according to the old Eddie Murphy joke, you keep that shit forever like luggage.
Yes. And I don't think you can get it from a toilet
I was going to say.
Well, that was the big rumor in the 80s and 90s pre-internet, is that you could, especially in New York. Yes.
Yeah.
Is that you could get herpes from a toilet seat.
I know you could get pregnant from a toilet seat.
Give it.
And I think they also thought you could get HIV from kissing.
Yeah. No, again, we're in a dark age.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a horrible night. It is a horrible, horrible night.
But you've got the medicine, right?
I've got the medicine and I take it, but it's going to take a couple days. You know,
sure.
It's this, and again, $125 in. This is 30 years ago. It was a fair amount of money.
Really expensive.
I haven't done the math. If someone wants to Google what that is in
Could you do the sums, Danielle?
Well, I can only do an ounce of math, so I don't
There's an inflation converter online, and I bet Garen knows where to find it.
He'll find it for, what did we learn, at least?
So it's just miserable. And so then I go to a dermatologist the next day. Guess what? Not covered by my parents' plan. That's a ton of thing. So I'm waiting in there, and it's just like the long, long walk to death row or whatever, And I'm just sitting there waiting, and the guy brings me in. And he goes, let's see it. He goes, what's that on your arm? And I go, oh, God, it's on my arm. He goes, no.
Arm herpes.
What's that on your chin? And I'm like, what's happening right now? He's like, have you ever had chicken pox, John?
Oh, my God.
And I say, no, actually, I haven't had chicken pox. Like, we have chicken pox. You're 20 and you have chicken pox. Or 21 and you have chicken pox. And I'm like, what? And he goes, is it Dr. B? Is your referral? Let me call George. He called in front of me, God bless him, in front of me, the dermatologist whose name I don't remember, and God love him. He was in like a really nice office on like South Park Avenue. Again, I'm hemorrhaging money. Throwing money I do not. Throwing my mom's money at this herpes
They're still
scare.
paying for this.
Yeah. From beyond the grave. And I got to see him call my family doctor and go, George, it's Dr. The Bowie kid you sent me, he's got chicken pox. He's white as a ghost, George. What are you doing to him? Kid comes in here, thinks he's got herpes. He's got chicken pox. Look at his arms. What is this? Yes, I'm yelling. Absolutely just... And the beautiful thing is that he did me the favor of doing it in front of me. Like, so I got some mild satisfaction of watching Dr. B get his asshole chewed out by this dermatologist. I'm laid up for like 4 days. I can't see anybody.
Right. So you're still at your parents' house, you mean?
I'm at my mom's house. And I'm the last one up to Ithaca for the for my senior year. But I also had this weird sort of epiphany that I didn't act on for a couple of years. But I'm just getting chicken pox now. I'm still a child.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Still a child, and then I do my student teaching. And I go back to my old high school and I get a job the year after I graduate. But I'm this fresh-faced 22-year-old. I shave every day, but it doesn't matter. I can't grow a beard yet. I'm shorter than most of my students. Everyone thinks I'm just a student in a tie.
Right.
And the teachers are like, so you're working here now. And it was just this constant reminder between and the job was overwhelming, and a kid took a swing at me, and it was it was just a whole lot of I had my moments where I was a decent teacher, but I also had my moments where I gave a test and then lost the test. So the kids had to retake the test, which they did not take well, and I don't blame them. It was just me fucking up
to give
constantly.
them herpes.
And it was just this constant reminder of I just had chicken pox. I'm a child.
Wow, that's so cool. I mean, it's an interesting revelation.
It's an interesting
perspective.
I don't know if I'd say it's cool.
No, cool was not the right word.
But it's an interesting sort of it gave me this sort of weird narrative in my 20s of I don't know that I'm ready to have my shit together yet, you know?
Yeah.
And it kind of cooled my jets. Now, here's the thing. I had a thing of Zovirax that I had for 2 years, you know?
Yeah.
And you know what Zovirax will take care of? If you get a mild canker sore, Zovirax will zap that shit out in hours. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's like basically bringing a bazooka to a knife fight. So I didn't really need it. It kind of helped with the chicken pox. You kind of just have to wait that out.
Okay, yeah.
I no longer have the scar on my penis because I kept it out of the sun.
Good for you. That must have been hard.
Yeah, no, I managed.
Okay.
And
like Bernadette Peters, you just put a glove on it.
Precisely.
Sun hat?
Yeah. And oddly enough, it sang Dot in Sunday in the Park with George.
Okay, I was waiting for a reference.
Yeah.
If anyone's gonna get a Bernadette Peter,
Who's your guy?
It's John Ross Bowie.
Who's your guy? I think I gave it way too much sort of metaphorical weight.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't let the record show that I don't actually have herpes.
Excellent.
And that's how yet.
There's still life. There's still life
There's
to
still
be
toilet seats out there
Yes.
with my name on it.
Yes.
I've
seen your
Just 'cause
name
you
on
etched
lots of toilet seats.
Yeah.
And I know this was a very, very short survival story,
No,
but it's very true. And I had chickenpox when I was 21.
So I want to ask how, were you immediately relieved when I would imagine you were ecstatic.
My relief had it was a high that I can't it was, you know what it was? I'll tell you, honest to God, truth, what it was like. So I'm 21, 8 years later, I try ecstasy for the first time at a county fair in upstate New York, because why not?
Perfect, sure.
And it kicks in, and I'm like, this feels amazing. Oh, this feels that time I realized I didn't have herpes. That's what this is. That's what this is. Oh, my fingers are tingling. Oh, my God. This is euphoric. That's what it's like when you think you have herpes for 24 hours. It turns out to be chicken pox. Even though you're sick and you have a fever and you got bumps all over you and it's itching like fuck.
Yeah, you're like, I love it. I
had it on the soles of my feet, too, which was maddening. It was torturous.
I didn't even think about having it on your penis. I guess even if you're a kid, you could have it on your penis.
You can get it anywhere, yeah.
Oh, I've heard of people getting it in their eyeballs.
I don't even understand, because that's a whole different tissue.
But I've heard that.
How is that possible,
I don't know.
though?
I've heard that. I could be making it up, but I don't think I am. Or maybe the person who told me made it up. But I swear to God, I think you can get it.
Did you hear that story before the internet? Because you remember the shit that we would buy before the internet?
What about the girlfriend?
Yes, that's what I was going to ask. So were you and the girlfriend ever able to laugh about this herpes incident?
Yes.
Okay, so she must have been greatly relieved.
She was greatly relieved. I was greatly relieved. Because, she obviously was at the point like, fuck, do I have it? What's going on? Because there was just enough intimacy that like this could have been a thing too, And it was a hot mess.
Oh, did she get chicken pox?
She did not get chicken pox.
Oh, that's a really good question.
Because she'd had it.
Okay.
She'd had it when she was younger.
Like a normal person, John.
Like a normal person.
You're like a medical miracle.
I honestly don't know where I would have. I honestly can't figure out where I fucking got chicken pox also, because it wasn't like I was working with kids
little kids,
that summer.
That's weird.
And
you got it from a toilet seat.
I got it from a toilet seat. I honestly could have got it from one unventilated subway car in the summer, and God knows what you can catch there.
Right.
You can catch cholera on the New York City subway in the summer. But yes, we were able to laugh about it. And even my mom, who was out $300 or something by the end of this nightmare. Did we find out what $125 is in 2023?
What is it?
It is $273.
Jesus, that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of
money.
For
a prescription?
Yeah. For a prescription.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Thanks, Obamacare.
Yeah. Okay.
No, really, I meant it. It wasn't sarcastic. Thank you. Now we don't have to pay that.
That's true. Yeah, okay.
It just whenever you say those words, it comes out.
Yeah, it comes out very,
sarcastic.
Very conservative and mean. Yeah. No, this was during the first Bush administration, is what this was. Yeah. This was.
That's a lot.
There was a promising young governor from Arkansas coming up in the ranks. But yeah, even my mom was able to laugh at it.
Good.
She was very delighted that you didn't have herpes.
Very delighted. But there was also a part of her is like, so $300 for what?
Right, chicken pox.
$300 for, just stay in bed and eat chicken soup and watch cartoons the way children do when they get chicken pox.
John, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for hearing my gross story.
No, it was great.
I loved it. It was really fun.
It was great. I loved it.
I appreciate you guys giving me an ear.
Yes.
This story didn't fit into my book, so it's a cut.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to go get your book.
Enjoy that.
Is it available?
Got some bonus stuff.
Is it? I'm sure it's available online.
It is.
Is it also available at bookstores?
It is.
Wow.
Like if
I just got a photo from someone who saw it at the Grove.
Oh,
that's so nice.
Grove, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm getting it today. That's what I'm doing.
We'll put it in the newsletter for everyone listening.
That's right.
Please do. Thank you.
Yeah,
and thank you so much. And we will be right back with What Did We Learn Today?
Want to teach your kids financial literacy, but not sure where to start? Greenlight can help. With Greenlight, parents can keep an eye on kids' spending and saving, while kids and teens use a card of their own to build money confidence. As a parent, you can send instant money transfers, set up chores, automate allowance, and more. It's a convenient way to run your household, customized to your family's needs, and the easy way to raise financially smart kids. Get started with Greenlight today and get your first month free at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This episode is sponsored by AutoTrader. There's a good chance you're driving right now. Look around. Safely. What do you see? Cars. Lots of them. And guess what? They're probably on AutoTrader. Whether you're into timeless classics or the latest trends. Did somebody say solar-powered, eco-friendly, vegan, leather-wrapped, aromatherapy-scented, disco ball-equipped, self-driving car? If you see it on the road, you can likely find it on AutoTrader. Big cars, small cars, blue cars, new cars, used cars, electric cars, and one day, maybe even flying cars. With millions to choose from, buying a car becomes a whole lot easier. See it, find it, AutoTrader. Find your next car on autotrader.com.
Chris, are you ready to learn what we learned today?
Yes, please.
Okay, need a Ford? Call Kit Contractor this fall on HGTV, sponsored by Angie's List. It's not Angie's List anymore. It's
just
Angie.
That's right.
And it's spelled different.
It's spelled dumb.
It's spelled dumb.
It's spelled 500 phone calls.
But what?
I don't
It doesn't
know.
make any sense. Anyway, okay. Roland Emmerich likes to decorate his homes in a self-described outlandish manner, adorning them with rare Hollywood memorabilia, murals and portraits of dictators and communist figures, and World War II militaria, which I didn't know was a word, and I love it.
Well, I don't care for it.
You don't care for the word, or you don't care for his
idea?
No, it's awful.
Also, he's gay. I didn't think I knew he was gay.
Oh, okay. I don't know anything.
Well, I just think it's like you can't do certain decorative themes.
No, it's gross.
They should be off the list of approved themes.
And it was just funny that it was, and he rents out this house. Like he Airbnbs it or something.
I'm Googling him right now. I need to see what he looks like.
Okay. Should I wait?
No,
okay.
I'm listening.
The Ebola victim who is believed to have triggered the 2014 outbreak, a 2-year-old boy called Emil Uwamuno from Guinea, may have been infected by playing in a hollow tree housing a colony of bats, says scientists. Oh, boy.
He was just trying to be Batman.
Yeah. Oh. Ebola can be transmitted basically any way you can think of, dead or alive, person or not. Blood in the Stools was Fatal Diarrhea's smash hit debut album. Suspect you have Ebola? You may be pregnant. Scientists do
Which
not...
do you want? Pick one, Danielle.
Boy, oh boy. That's a really good question.
Ebola or pregnant?
Ooh.
That's a fun party game.
Scientists do not know where Ebola virus comes from, to answer your question. Condom usage varies between countries and cultures in Africa. Some potential reasons for declining use are belief that condoms cause HIV, could trigger pain in the kidneys, or cause worms. Social status, you look cheap by using condoms that are free of charge. Wow. Financial reasons, women fall pregnant in order to qualify for government grants. Men will not fall pregnant. That's quite a turn of phrase. Men will not pay for sex if you insist on condom usage, among other reasons. Jesus. Worldwide, 67% of people under age 50 live with... Okay, I'm going to skip that. The varicella... It's not Italian. The varicella zoster virus is the one that causes chickenpox and shingles. When it affects your eye, it's called herpes zoster ophthalmicus. So you can, I guess. Do we have any business to take care of?
You know what? I think we're going to wait.
Okay.
So what we will say is thank you to everyone for listening.
Yes.
And
it's never too late to sign up for Patreon if you would like to do so.
We are taping a bonus episode next week with a special guest.
Yep.
And it's going to be a party because we do like to throw parties.
We like to party.
We party so dang hard. Oh my gosh, like past 8 p.m.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I know it.
Until next time,
remain calm.